Members, it's the appointed time and we have a quorum. I call the meeting to order. We are here to discuss the implementation and review of talent admission schemes. With us today from the administration are Mr. Ho Kai-ming, Undersecretary for Labor and Welfare, Ms. Angelina Kwan, Deputy Secretary for Labor and Welfare, Manpower, and Mr. Hins Chiu, Principal Assistant Secretary for Labor and Welfare, Manpower. Members would like to put questions, please press the button now. Please disclose any interest that you have in relation to the items of discussion before you speak. I'll ask Mr. Ho Kai-ming, Undersecretary, to walk us through the paper first. Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, members. We're here to brief members on the implementation and review of talent admission schemes. LWB is responsible for formulating the talent admission strategies. The various schemes are set out in Annex 1. The schemes are very popular and well received by talents. As of June this year, the schemes have received over 320,000 applications. Among them, 200,000 applications were approved. Over 130,000 talents have arrived in Hong Kong, which exceed the target of attracting altogether 105,000 talents in 3 years. With the success that we have, we are reviewing the various talent admission schemes to make sure that they are attractive and are able to meet the manpower needs of Hong Kong. Me and my colleagues will be happy to take questions from members. Thank you, Undersecretary. We have to conclude this item at 9:45 a.m., so I'll give each member 3 minutes, including question and answer. Mr. Lam Chen-sing. Thank you, Chairman. We are to discuss how new migrant talents can integrate into Hong Kong at the subcommittee. I noticed that in certain social media in the mainland, that there are posts saying that the migrant talents have difficulties finding jobs in Hong Kong. Mainland talents don't really mind salary. They are willing to work overtime. Mainland talents are very hardworking. However, they are of the view that the local talents are not really hardworking. They think that the local people are of the view that the migrant talents come to Hong Kong to destroy the local employment ecosystem. I think that we have to face this issue squarely, and I hope that the LWB will let us know which sector the migrant talents are working in. And if we have too many migrant talents in a particular sector, that may affect the local workers in that particular trade. I would also like to ask about Category C talents looking for jobs. Because they're university graduates, they may not have much job experience. They don't have any enterprise or personal network. Are the challenges faced by this group of talents harsher? I hope that the LWB will analyze the challenges faced by Category A, B, C talents. Do we have to pay special attention to Category C talent? Thank you. I am a talent raised and born in Hong Kong. I'm very hardworking myself. I don't want to work overtime, but I think that we all want to complete and finish our jobs in Hong Kong. I think that everyone in Hong Kong wants to get their job done. That's our spirit. I'll ask the Deputy Secretary to elaborate on the figures. Thank you. As at the end of last year, for migrant talents have arrived in Hong Kong for 6 months or more, we have conducted a study on them. Over half of them have identified a job or employed, and most of them are employed in financial services, INT sector, as well as trade-related sector. They are very much similar to the trade composition of Hong Kong's economy. Chairman, I would like to supplement. Well, because categories A, B, C talent have different backgrounds, would the LWB conduct a more detailed study on them? Deputy Secretary, we have conducted separate study on categories A, B, and C talent. Thank you. I'll read out the members who have pressed the button. Dr. Nga Man-yu, Ms. Carmen Khan, Mr. Tang Fei, Dr. Wendy Hong, Mr. Yim Kong, Mr. Shang Hailong, and Dr. Tan Yueheng. Members who would like to put questions, please press the button as soon as possible. Dr. Nga Man-yu. Thank you, Chairman. I have 2 questions. I wonder when we will update the talent list again. And second, I know that we have received over 320,000 applications with 200,000 applications approved. So it means that there are some 100,000 applications that have not been approved or processed. Well, only 130,000 talents have arrived. So it means that some 70,000 talents have not arrived, although their applications have been approved. What is the reason for that? Do they have difficulties in identifying an apartment or a job? For the migrants who have their applications approved but have not arrived, has the administration follow up on their cases? So 3 questions altogether. Undersecretary, thank you. Regarding the talent list, I'll ask the Deputy Secretary to take the question. You may refer to Annex 2. The discrepancy lies with the top talent pass scheme because we make use of a marking scheme system. We want to identify actual top talents from all around the world, and we have a committee to assess all the applications. It takes time for the committee to assess the relevant applications. And that is why we have this top talent pass scheme to basically replace the quality migrant admission scheme. Regarding the next update to the talent list, the LWD is conducting a manpower projection. As at the end of this year, we will publish our result. We will have regards to the manpower projection and use that as the basis for our future study on the types of job listed in the talent list. Hopefully, in the first half of next year, we can update the list. There's a question outstanding. The Immigration Department does not require the talents to arrive in Hong Kong upon approval of their applications because the talents may have to identify an apartment here and they have to make certain preparations before they come. The talents can arrive in Hong Kong within 3 months upon approval of their visas. We'll follow up on their cases in our study as to why they've not come to Hong Kong. Next, Ms. Carmen Khan. Chairman, I am the president of the Top Talent Services Association. It does not mean that I blindly support the talent admission schemes proposed by the Hong Kong government, the top talent admission schemes have received over 320,000 applications altogether. This actually shows that people have confidence in our future. So I support all the talent admission schemes. It is said that the number of applications approved exceeded the target of 105,000 talents in 3 years. There is also another goal of having the talent stay in Hong Kong for at least 12 months. So what is the current situation? According to Annex 3, the number of talents admitted to Hong Kong are set out. Does that mean that they have already obtained the Hong Kong ID card? Are they staying behind? We don't really have a grasp. I think that is rather passive for us to wait for them to renew their applications before we get hold of the relevant figures. I would also like to ask about Annex 1, second item. It is said that the top talent pass scheme will be here for around 2 years. It will be expired in December 2024. Are we going to extend the scheme, or are we trying to ask the potential applicants to make applications as soon as possible? Is there a date for us to review the top talent pass scheme? According to paragraph 4, it seems that the top talent or the talent admission schemes are very effective. It is said that the top talent pass scheme entrants have contributed some $34 billion per annum to Hong Kong. How do we justify the figure? Today we are here to discuss new migrant talents, so I hope that we have more figures for us to help these talents to integrate into Hong Kong. 3 questions. I'll take the second question first. Top Talent Pass scheme is very successful, and as the Secretary said, we wouldn't be abolishing the scheme because it's so successful. As for KPI, we don't want to approve short-term visa. That is why we approve a visa for a period of 12 months for these talents. As to whether the talent will stay behind in Hong Kong for long-term development, we'll study it in our survey. Deputy Secretary, thank you. Ms. Carmen Khan is very correct. In our KPI, we target that to have the talent stay in Hong Kong for 12 months. Because the Top Talent Pass scheme has been here for less than 2 years, so no talents has been required to renew their pass yet. Half of these talents have been employed, and we notice that their salaries are higher than the general workforce in Hong Kong. Based on these figures, we believe that the talents admitted through the Top Talent Pass scheme would likely stay behind. As for the contribution to our economy, well, our economists and statisticians have a formula to calculate talents' contribution to our economy. So how is the calculation made? Through the survey, well, we ask how many talents are employed, and we ask the talents about their monthly salary. And if their dependents are also employed, we also take into account their salary level. But we will make a certain apportionment to the percentage. we'll see how much contribution the talents can bring to Hong Kong. So because certain jobs will not be taken up without these talents, that's how we arrive at the amount of contribution. If there is change to the number of talents employed and the salary level, we will adjust our figures. We try to get as many data as possible for us to estimate the contribution.
Chairman, can you tell us the denominator of the survey? Is it 5,000 applicants? Through the Immigration Department, we collect data from about the applicants. Those who have arrived in Hong Kong for 6 months or longer that are included in the survey. It's not practical for us to study those who have just arrived in Hong Kong. So we conducted questionnaires, and based on the data collected, we conduct analysis. How many questionnaires have you collected? For the first round of our study, we got 5,000 samples. We did the survey in October last year. We've just launched the Top Talent Pass scheme for some time, and 40% of respondents, 40% of the people surveyed responded. That's less than 5,000 people. Mr. Tang Fei, the administration said half of the people who came, they got a job, so what about the rest? It looked like the administration conducted a sampling survey. Thousands of people came to Hong Kong through the TTPS. Are you going to only conduct a sampling survey, or will you study the situation based on big data analytics? You should study the situation of each applicant who came to Hong Kong. Would you do such a tracking study or survey? Also, we know that a lot of the top talents came from the mainland. There are also people who came from overseas. Are there statistics and figures showing that the places where people or top talents come from? We know that there is the capital entrance scheme. And there were controversies because there were people who came from specific places through the capital investment entrance scheme. Undersecretary, to respond to Mr. Tang Fei, we didn't do a sampling survey. We released a questionnaire to all applicants, and we got data from the Immigration Department about these applicants. People surveyed, they completed the questionnaires voluntarily. We sent an email to these applicants to ask them to complete the questionnaire, so it's not a sampling survey. In terms of big data analytics or large-scale surveys, like the IANG, we allow people to look for jobs in Hong Kong. Unlike the general employment policy, we allow talents to first come to Hong Kong and then look for jobs. Unless they cannot secure a job when it is time for them to renew the visa, we give them the flexibility to look for employment themselves. Deputy Secretary, for Cat B and Cat C talents, we look at whether they have a university degree. Mr. Tang Fei was right that some top talents, they did not receive education in the mainland. So we see graduates, 60% of the graduates, they graduated from the mainland and 40% graduated from overseas universities. They have global perspectives and they have certain knowledge about the global situation. We have talents from the US, the UK, Canada, and Australia. We have top talents mostly from these countries. For those who did not complete the questionnaires, there might be reasons why they did not complete the questionnaires. You ask people surveyed to complete the questionnaires voluntarily. It might be because some of them had failed to secure a job, that's why they did not want to fill out the questionnaires. Mr. Tang was right. We wanted to learn about the situations of top talents who came to Hong Kong before their visa expired. We asked people to fill out the questionnaires anonymously, and we collected data from the immigration department. We conducted analysis based on the data collected. 7 members are waiting to speak. Please be succinct. Please limit yourselves to 1 to 2 questions. Dr. Wendy Hong. Thank you, Chairman. In 2022, we set some targets for talent admission. We exceeded our target. I think for the next stage, we should change our direction. We should focus on the quantity of talents attracted instead. I have a few suggestions. We are seeing a serious aging society in Hong Kong. Would you set a limit on the age of top talents who are going to come to Hong Kong as well as the age of the dependents? According to a survey, most of these top talents join the financial services industry or the business sector after they come to Hong Kong. We have enough manpower for these 2 industries. That's why Mr. Lam Chun Sing said it's hard for top talents to look for jobs in Hong Kong. This is because we are not lacking manpower in areas where they specialize in. So should we attract a broader range of talents in this regard? The other point is about their economic contributions. Would you make an estimate on the strain they put on our social welfare system? Let's look at the pros and cons to the Top Talent Pass scheme. We have 250,000 top talents and their dependents who have come to Hong Kong. They make use of our healthcare system as well as the social welfare system. Quite a number of countries, when they attract talents to go to their places, they ask their talents to take out insurance on their own. Would you make an estimate on the potential impacts top talents bring to our healthcare and social welfare systems? Also, would you ask these top talents to take out insurance on their own? Under Secretary, on the age limit, we see that the top talents we've attracted are mostly aged 30 to 40 years old. So this is helping us address the aging population problem. It's not going to reverse the trend of aging population in Hong Kong, but it's going to help address the issue. Like the Deputy Secretary said, we have more top talents joining the financial services industry, INT industry, as well as the trading industry. We have INT talents who are coming to Hong Kong and they are helping the development of the relevant industries. We're going to keep in view the development of different industries in Hong Kong. We want to keep the application procedure is simple. Say if we only ask students from the science stream of the Tsinghua University to come, it would be hard for us to estimate how many people would apply to the scheme. How about the strain top talents might put on our healthcare system? Well, suggestions noted. Mr. Yim Kong. Thank you, Chair. On the 27th of January this year, the Director of Immigration shared with us about the visa renewal procedures of top talents who've come to Hong Kong. Secretary for Labor and Welfare also mentioned about the visa renewal procedures. Top talents who come to Hong Kong, they have to earn at least $20,000 per month. And whether top talents' visas would be renewed, the government will have to assess top talents' actual contribution to Hong Kong. How do you define actual contributions made by top talents? Would you give some tips to newly arrived top talents? Undersecretary, I mentioned about the figure $20,000 in that occasion. The median monthly income of people in Hong Kong is about $20,000, so we expect top talents who come to Hong Kong to earn about the same amount of money every month. When the Director of Immigration vets the applications, he looks at different factors. If you're able to secure an employment, it would give you more advantage in terms of securing a successful application. Employers would contribute to the MPF for employees. Employers hire employees, they rent venues. There are different types of new employment in Hong Kong nowadays. We'll keep in view the situation with the Immigration Department. We'll see if these new types of employments that arise would benefit Hong Kong. People might come to Hong Kong to do different types of business. We'll see if these businesses would contribute to the economy of Hong Kong. If there is a clear employer and employee relationship, then we won't be too worried when we vet the applications. Well, some say that top talents come to Hong Kong to sell insurance plans. The Director of Immigration said the department would be stringent when vetting applications. For instance, the level of income. These are factors that the Immigration Department would look at. When the visa expires 2 years later after the talents come, do you have enough manpower to assess the job situations and the contributions made by top talents when you decide whether to renew the visas of top talents? Undersecretary. Well, some people, they engage in self-employment when they sell insurance plans. We have to make an assessment on whether people who work in the insurance industry meet our requirements. If they fail to meet our requirements, we'll have to see whether the top talents concerned make actual contributions to Hong Kong's economy.
Now it's my turn. Among the talent admission schemes, there is a TAS, Technology Talent Admission Scheme. It's the worst performing scheme For 2 consecutive years, only some 200, 100 applications have been received and approved. So comparing to other talent admission schemes, it seems that the tech test is not as effective. Despite this, the immigration department have to retain a team to assess the applications received for the scheme. Shouldn't the administration see if we need to cancel the scheme? Well, that's a scheme under the purview of ITIB but not LWB. This is an industry-based scheme. ITIB has a dedicated team to assess the applications received for tech tests. There are certain requirements on the types of jobs and the specified universities in which the talent should graduate from. The ITIB would assess all these criteria of the applicants first before the applications is passed over to the immigration department. As tech test has not really received a lot of applications, the immigration department would flexibly redeploy their manpower to assess or vet the applications for Top Talent Pass scheme or other schemes. Although the number of applications received is low, it does not mean that the scheme is not effective. Even though some talents meet the requirements of the tech test, if they graduate from renowned universities, they may go for Top Talent Pass scheme instead because the requirements is less stringent. So talents have different options. The low number of applications does not mean that we haven't really got a lot of technology talent. Tech test was announced before the COVID, and I think that it's time for us to review it, as we already have other talent admission schemes. We'll relay your view to the relevant bureau. Next, Dr. Tan Yuhan. Would members limit themselves to 1 question? Thank you, Chairman. If I may refer to Annex 2 and 3, there are some tables. First, a total of 320,000 applications were received for the 8 talent admission schemes. 200,000 applications approved, so it means that 70,000 applications have not been approved. Some 130,000 talents have arrived, including along with their 120,000 dependents, which exceed the target of 105,000 talents in 3 years. With the high admission rate, will the administration set a set of more stringent requirements? That's my first question. Second, for the 190,000 odd applications approved, well, 1/3 of the applicants did not arrive in Hong Kong despite their visas being approved. So after these 130,000 talents have arrived, are they staying behind, or how many of them have left with their visas? And that's my question. Thank you. We'll try to improve the talent admission schemes as far as possible. We want to increase local manpower by having these schemes. When the talents renew their visas, we'll have a better grasp of the employment situation of the talents. Before the renewals, we issue questionnaires to talents to see how we can help them and see if they are employed. do have a tracking survey, but we don't want to annoy the talents by mandating them to fill out questionnaires before the renewal of visas. What about the questions on why 1/3 of the talents have not arrived? It was mentioned by the Deputy Secretary. We allow talents time to make preparations before they arrive. So that is why there is discrepancy between the number of applications approved and talents arrived. Anything to add, Dr. Tan? No. Next, Mr. Chan Xiu-hong. Thank you. The two items on the agenda are very much similar, so maybe we can combine the two items together in the future so that we don't have to be rushing through the item. I was in another meeting, so I'm not sure what questions have been put. I'm concerned about paragraph 4. It is said that the survey results shows that 54% of the incoming talent have been in employment. According to the administration, the applicants or talents are not mandated to return the questionnaires sent to them. So I wonder what is the response rate? That's my first question. For the remainder of the 40-odd% who have not been in employment, well, what is the reason why some talents don't return the questionnaires? On Xiaohongshu, we saw posts saying that the talents are disappointed after they've come to Hong Kong. This has painted a very negative picture of the talent admission schemes that we offer. They may have some misunderstanding, but I think that we do have to clarify it. So apart from the survey for top talent pass schemes, do we have any survey for other talent mission schemes? Because we're not just here to discuss top talent pass schemes, but the quick integration of new migrant talents into Hong Kong. So I think that we have to understand why new migrants finds it difficult to integrate into Hong Kong, and perhaps these talents will leave Hong Kong in 3 or 5 months' time upon arrival. I don't think that we can just solely rely on surveying. Perhaps some NGOs can help in this area, including the Top Talent Services Association, to address the difficulties faced by the top talents. Undersecretary. Different talents have different expectations. Maybe some talents have too high of an expectation. They may thought that they could get hold of a public rental housing unit. All the conditions of the schemes are set out very carefully. Our economy needs talents, contribution, but talents would also assess if Hong Kong is suitable for them. We'll look at the data before we make any adjustment. Mr. Chen also asked if you have conducted any survey for other schemes. Only The Quality Migrant Admission Schemes, Top Talent Pass Scheme, and IANG would allow the applicants to be employed in Hong Kong. We'll ask if the Education Bureau will conduct a survey for IANG talents. So what are the talents' difficulties in integrating into Hong Kong? I'll ask the Deputy Secretary to walk you through the outcome of the survey. Well, we asked in which area the talent needs assistance in. They said that they had difficulties in identifying an apartment, a job, and children's education. They also told us that there are a lot of opportunities in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is very safe and free. The talent engaged will follow up on these talents. I'll leave some time for other members to put questions. Mr. Kwok Wai-kan, thank you. By having these talent admission schemes, we want to attract talents to contribute and address our manpower issues. Why do we need lack manpower in certain sector? Is it because we don't have relevant courses in our universities or educational institutions? Shouldn't we train local talents instead? Well, there are jobs that are not filled, and there are also people who are unemployed. That's the problem. Undersecretary, thank you. We are conducting a manpower survey, and we can complete it within second half of the year. And in the first half of next year, we will report to another panel or subcommittee. For the three industries, including financial services, trading industry, and INT, technology services industry, these are traditional industries of Hong Kong, and they need substantial manpower. These sectors would choose the employees that they need, and we hope to achieve kind of matching between a job and the employee. Well, the manpower projection is often very vague. Can you conduct a more concrete kind of survey? We don't want to see any projection. We want to understand the current situation. I know that there is a tracking survey. Well, I'll ask the Deputy Secretary to tell you about the outcome of the survey. The survey results shows that 54% of the talents have been in employment, and we also ask the talents in which industry they're employed. Most of them were able to get hold of a job because they are university graduates. After they've come to Hong Kong, they are mostly in the management level or professional sector. Top talents would not usually be employed in the grassroots sector. We conduct manpower projection for high-end frontline jobs altogether, and the Employee Retraining Board is conducting a review to see how we can train manpower that is or that can meet the needs of Hong Kong's economy.
In the interest of time, Mr. Kwok Wai-kan, you might want to follow up on the issues on your own. Mr. Benson Luke. This subcommittee is a subcommittee on matters relating to facilitating quick integration of new migrant talent into Hong Kong. So quick integration is the key here. What are the support measures for dependents of incoming talents? Are there any new measures being put in place by the government? According to Annex 3, in 2023, we have some 77,000 dependents of incoming talents who have come to Hong Kong. In 2024, we have 43,000 of them. There are about 100,000 dependents of incoming talents who have arrived in Hong Kong. How many of them actually stayed in Hong Kong? How many of them just accompanied their spouses to come to Hong Kong and they leave afterwards? And how many of them have to receive education in Hong Kong? Children of incoming talents may go to local schools or international schools. And incoming talents might be worried about if there are places for their children. If you look at the first half of year 2023 and 24, in total, we have over 130,000 talents who came to Hong Kong. Some members asked about the accommodation or household situation of incoming talents. We have 130,000 people looking for flats, and this is a high demand for housing. So I wonder if the government has a grasp of the housing needs of incoming talents. What kind of flats are they looking for? How much are the flats that they buy? 2 questions. Deputy Secretary. On the dependence of incoming talents, we got data from the questionnaire survey. In some cases, the talents come first. Afterwards, their dependents, including spouses and children, come. In a lot of the cases, the whole family of talents come. They rent apartments, and some of them, they acquire their own properties. We didn't ask about in which districts they stay at. On education, people aged under 18, they have to receive education in Hong Kong. A lot of talents, they bring young children to Hong Kong. They are at kindergarten level or primary school level. And they usually secure a school place for their children before they come to Hong Kong. That's the general situation. Let me add one point. In the second and third meeting of this subcommittee, we will invite government officials from the Education Bureau to tell us about children education of incoming talents. Mr. Michael Lee, Hong Kong needs talents. We need people with capital as well as high education level to settle in Hong Kong. Talents who come to Hong Kong, they may not be able to adapt to the environment here, and they may return to their home countries. Have you conducted a study on how many talents who failed to stay in Hong Kong? My second question concerns the Top Talent Pass scheme. There are rumors that you look at the scores of applicants, and there are rumors that applicants have to wait for a long time to have their applications approved. Some people ask me whether we don't need talents, and that's why they have to wait for a long time for their applications to be approved. Some applicants, they meet the requirements, but they have to wait for a long time, and they may turn to other countries instead. I understand that the higher the score the talent secures, then the higher the chance they get their applications approved. However, the scores the applicants get may not reflect accurately the achievements they may have or the contributions that they may be able to make. I want to know how many talents actually end up settling in Hong Kong. We have the Hong Kong Talent Engage that offer one-stop support services to incoming talents. We members would like to know about the operation of the Hong Kong Talent Engage. Are there enough matching services offered to incoming talents in relation to jobs and accommodation or housing? Talents who come to Hong Kong, they need to look for places to stay. Would you consider setting up talent accommodations for incoming talents? Talents who stay in the talent apartments, they can help each other out. And this would make things easier for them. And it might be easier for them to, say, apply for school places for their children or look for jobs. One of the questions has been asked a couple of times, why did some talents choose not to stay in Hong Kong? The other question concerns talent apartments or accommodation. Undersecretary. Well, the second agenda item concerns the Hong Kong Talent Engage. Perhaps I'll save my response for later. We have many applicants, that's why applicants have to wait. We only require applicants to prove their educational level for the Top Talent Pass scheme. We will review the application procedures of the TTPS to see how we can shorten the waiting time for applicants. We have two other members waiting to speak, Ms. Doreen Kong and Mr. Dominic Lee. Please watch the time. Ms. Doreen Kong. Thank you, Chairman. The Hong Kong Talent Engage was established in December 2022. We're able to attract over 100,000 talents to come to Hong Kong, and this is no easy task. The Talent Engage was set up just at around the end of 2022, and it's not practical to ask the government to help settle all the problems for incoming talents within such a short period of time. I think we are already doing a great job that we managed to attract so many talents to come to Hong Kong. I think the Labour and Welfare Bureau is doing pretty well. So we have attracted talents to come. Now we have to help them. We have to set priorities. We have over 100,000 incoming talents and dependents. We have only the Labour and Welfare Bureau taking care of these 130,000 people. We shouldn't expect the LWB to do a perfect job. Rather, can the Undersecretary tell us whether there are priorities set by the Bureau? There must be some people we should take care of first. For instance, those who have already secured a job, or those who are professionals. They are crucial to us. We should offer help to them first. We have professionals or middle-ranking officers aged between 30 to 50, and we should take care of this group of people first. We have limited resources. That's why we have to accord priority. Also, over the past year or so, we have had a serious brain drain. I understand that we need many talents to come. How do you take care of the feelings of people in Hong Kong at the same time? How do we look after the local talents? These are my questions. 2 questions, one on the priority or prioritization, and second, how does the government look after the feelings of people in Hong Kong? Perhaps I can save some of the responses until the next item. We help incoming talents to look for schools as well as housing. We have held job fairs because we want to help incoming talents to secure a job first. This is how we prioritize things. Ms. Doreen Kong, in the next agenda item, the Hong Kong Talent Engage, will tell us about the progress of their work. Mr. Dominic Lee. Thank you, Chairman. Since the launch of the Top Talent Pass scheme, we have seen results and successes. According to my understanding, we are attracting graduates from world's top 100 universities. And you look at the undergraduate degrees of these graduates. For postgraduates, you don't take them into account. I understand that there are different types of graduates from one university. It's hard for you to control the quality of all of these graduates. Say, we have an MBA student graduated from Harvard, or a JD student from Yale. They are not considered as graduates of world's top 100 universities. Would you therefore expand the scope of the university list? We will review the Top Talent Pass scheme in due course. We have 180 world's top 100 universities. There are top talents who graduated from well-known universities on the mainland. They might be ones who have got a master's degree, but they did not do their undergraduate programs in these universities. So we'll look at how we can review the university list or the eligibility of applicants. That's all for this item. Thank you, Under Secretary. Thank you, Deputy Secretary. We welcome members to put questions to the administration in relation to the Hong Kong Talent Engage. Now for the second agenda item, we're going to discuss the work progress of Hong Kong Talent Engage. Let me first welcome the government officials to join us. We have again Mr. Ho Kai Ming, Under Secretary for Labour and Welfare. We also have from the Hong Kong Talent Engage, Mr. Anthony Lau, the Director, as well as Ms. Anna Au, the Deputy Director. I'd like to tell members that after discussions with Mr. Yim Kong, the Deputy Chair, as well as the administration, we will have a discussion on the promotional and publicity campaign to be launched by the Talent Engage in the next meeting. We'll also discuss facilitation measures for collaboration opportunities within the GBA. MOU have been signed by the SAR government with other mainland authorities. And for future meetings, we will discuss education for children of incoming talents, and the Education Bureau will attend the meetings. We'll also discuss support measures for incoming talents to secure employment and how they can learn about the culture in Hong Kong. There are also channels to be provided to the incoming talents in relation to how they can seek help in Hong Kong. So these are things that we will discuss in future meetings. We might also discuss visa renewal procedures for incoming talents. Let me first welcome Mr. Ho Kai-ming, Undersecretary for Labour and Welfare, as well as Mr. Anthony Lau, Director of Hong Kong Talent Engage, to walk us through the paper.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm going to brief members on the work progress of Hong Kong Talent Engage. The Talent Engage was established at the end of 2023. It used to be a talent services unit. We want to help talents develop in Hong Kong over the long run, and we provide a one-stop service to them. We also devise different promotional strategies and promote the opportunities that Hong Kong has to offer. We want to attract more talents to come to Hong Kong. We visited Singapore, Malaysia, and the mainland together with the Hong Kong Talent Engage to attract talents. The Talent Engage have organized the Global Talent Summit Hong Kong. Some 1,200 leaders have participated, and over 130,000 views have been recorded on its live webcast. The Hong Kong Talent Engage have rolled out 3 videos featuring Stephen Marbury, as well as a sculpture artist, as well as a manager of the Cathay Pacific Airlines, promoting the opportunities that we have to offer. The Talent Engage will continue to offer one-stop support to the talents and help them settle in Hong Kong. The Talent Engage will also continue to promote Hong Kong's attractiveness and opportunities to people all over the world. As mentioned by the chairman, we will also visit different places all over the world to promote our talent policies. The Hong Kong Talent Engage and myself will be happy to take questions. Mr. Anthony Lau, anything to add? No. There are 5 members who have pressed the button. 6. I'll read out the names. Mr. Kwok Wai Keun, Dr. Ngaman Yu, Ms. Carmen Khan, myself, Dr. Wendy Hong, and Ms. Doreen Kong. 3 minutes, including question and answer. Please be very succinct. Mr. Kwok Wai Keun. Thank you, Chairman. The Hong Kong Talent Engage relies on a mobile application and online media to reach out to talent. So I wonder how many offline events the Hong Kong TE have organized. And there are also people who are worried that the mainland talent would bring the overworking culture to Hong Kong. Are we helping the talents understand the office culture and employment rights of employees in Hong Kong? It is said in the paper that if we can tell good stories of Hong Kong through these talents, then it will be very effective. So we have to make these talents feel home when they are in Hong Kong. So I think that we have to provide a more diversified kind of service for our talents. So the last one is a comment. The member asked about introduction of the overworking culture into Hong Kong and the support that we offer to the talents, as well as a number of offline events. Undersecretary, I think that all talents over the world focus on doing their job. I know that Hong Kong people always try to get their jobs done in the shortest time possible. We will educate the mainland talents that it's always better to get the job done quicker instead of extending the working hours. As mentioned, we have organized the Global Talent Summit and along with other offline events. I'll ask the director to elaborate. Thank you, Chairman. In terms of promotion, as mentioned by the member, we rely on online channels. We are increasing our presence in social media. We try to attract and draw people to our website through social media. We're working on our website by including more functions and information. Of course, we cannot get everything done online. It would be better for us to reach out to the talents face to face. So since March this year, every 2 weeks, we organize a seminar in our office. We have organized some 8 seminars so far. Within this year, we target to complete 36 face-to-face seminars. In every seminar, there will be 60 to 70 talents attending, and we have different themes for each of the seminar, including office culture, Cantonese classes, how to find a job, how to find an apartment. Through these seminars, we disseminate such information to the talents. In the 4th quarter this year, apart from visiting the mainland, we will go to other markets to meet potential talents and promote the strategies that we have. Chairman, I hope that the Hong Kong TE would link the talents with the business chambers and professional bodies, so that talents can integrate into the local professional environment. I think that we need seminars, but we also need other measures to help the talents. So please note this. I know that you have a lot of working partners. Dr. Ngaman Yu, thank you. Chairman, I thank the director for leading the Hong Kong TE. But it seems that Hong Kong TE focuses on attracting talents and promotion. But as for how we retain the talents or how we encourage the talents to actually come to Hong Kong upon receipt of their visas, only 3 paragraphs of the paper are about these 2 things. So is it because the Hong Kong TE has just established that is why they focus on attracting talents? I think the Hong Kong TE should also work on retaining talents. There are some talents who have come to Hong Kong and have obtained Hong Kong ID card via the Top Talent Pass scheme. They don't work in Hong Kong. Apart from seeing Mr. Stephen Marbury on the videos rolled out by the Hong Kong Talent Engage, we don't really know if Stephen Marbury actually work in Hong Kong. I think that we have to learn about what difficulties the talents face. Do you know what challenges that they have? Efforts on retaining talent, Undersecretary. Thank you. On the number of renewal applications, we will only be able to get hold of that next year. For Mr. Stephen Murray, he has retired from MBA. He works in Hong Kong, mainland, and the U.S. He teaches. The member said that the paper hasn't really touched on talent retention. However, as mentioned by the director, we have organized some summit and seminars. All these are for retention of talents. I'll ask the director to talk about the things that the talent have shared with us. For the talents that we have reached out to, they face 3 difficulties. They have difficulties in identifying a job and identifying a school for their children and identifying an apartment or accommodation. The talents are not trying to get the cheapest apartment possible. They don't have much difficulties in this area. Therefore, the challenges that they face are mostly with job finding and identifying a school that are suitable for their children. We'll refer certain cases to our working partners so that they can help the talents. For complicated issues, we help these talents. We try to help our talents find a job or find a school for their children. It would be easy for the children to be admitted to a school at the start of the school year, but it's sometimes difficult for us to identify a school place in the middle of the school year. We help our talents in every aspect of their lives. It's sometimes difficult for a talent to be matched with a job. That is why we have engaged a professional working partner to help the talents formulate their CVs and teach them how to use LinkedIn. If necessary, the employer may organize a small-scale career expo or job fair in our office. Next, Ms. Carmen Khan. I have one question and some suggestions. We know that there are 197,000 talent applications that have been approved. I wonder how many of them are mainland talents. If we have a lot of mainland talents, then we have to devise measures that are suitable for them. It is said in the paper that the Hong Kong TE would focus on helping the talents with their employment needs and so on. I have to declare interest. I am from the Top Talent Services Association. We hope that the administration can work on relaxing the restrictions of capital flow between Hong Kong and the mainland. Maybe we can talk about the capital need of the talents. Can we put in place for example, closed-loop management of capital, or perhaps sign a memorandum of understanding with the Guangdong province so that we can allow a certain level of capital flow between Hong Kong and the mainland? I'm sure that the Hong Kong TE knows that capital flow is restricted between Hong Kong and the mainland. Now, in terms of the way forward, according to paragraph 7, on the website of the Hong Kong TE, I don't see any chatbot or frequently asked questions. Perhaps the Hong Kong TE can create a chatbot on their website. I know that the Hong Kong TE have over 60 working partners, but after clicking onto the link of the partners, I think that the Hong Kong TE should offer us more than the name of the partners, but also the measures that they or services that they have for talents, instead of just bringing us to the websites of the partners.
人才到港同
The first question is about capital. The second is about whether there can be a dedicated website for certain talents. Under Secretary, for those holding foreign passports who come to Hong Kong, they account for 1/4 of them. 3/4 of them come from the mainland. We can not only rely on the Talent Engage or the LWB in terms of liquidity flow. We will talk to the mainland authorities about this problem. On the chatbot suggestion, we'll follow up on this. Currently, we do not make use of hyperlinks. People can, for instance, based on their problems, click on the different tabs on the website. We will pass on the demands typed in by users of the website, and we offer matching services based on that. So we offer matching services, and according to our KPI, we can respond to people's demands and needs within 48 hours' time. Top talents ask different types of questions, and I don't think these questions can be dealt with simply by chatbot. What I'm saying is, if you click on the logo of a specific working partner, you should provide information from the working partner. I'd like to add a point about the FAQ. We will upgrade the functions of our website. We will include the chatbot function in the upgraded website. We have received about 22,000 questions from talents. We've got quite a number of calls from incoming talents. We hope to make use of chatbot to make our work easier. Apart from chatbot, hyperlinks to our working partners' website, we will reorganize them so that we can provide more comprehensive information for incoming talents. Mr. Wendy Hong. Thank you, Chairman. I think we have to focus on two areas in terms of talent attraction. First, we have to plug the loopholes. Second, we have to offer more services to incoming talent so that they can adapt to the living environment in Hong Kong as soon as possible. Talents who come to Hong Kong, they need different types of services and help. For instance, they need to look for housing, they need to look for school places for their children. They need babysitting in this regard. I don't think the government should actually babysit the incoming talents because our government is not good at this. We need NGOs instead to babysit the incoming talents. we need non-profit making services. So maybe we should build a network in this area. We need to rely on community groups and organizations to offer such type of services. According to my observation, incoming talents are lacking the information they need. They have misunderstandings about certain things. They don't have a very authoritative source of information. The Hong Kong Talent Engage has the responsibility to offer authoritative information to incoming talents. There are different bad intermediaries in Hong Kong that disseminate false information. They resort to illegal means in order to make profit. The government should combat these intermediaries and offer accurate information to incoming talents instead. I think we should let incoming talents know that they should learn our language, they should make friends here, they should build their own social circles, and they should not wait for the SAR government to help them. They should adapt and integrate to the local environment themselves. We should let the incoming talents know about this. On combating intermediaries engaging in malpractice, what does the government have to say? Top talents who come to Hong Kong, they do not necessarily have to go through agents or intermediaries for instance, visa renewal. If they have to rely on agents or intermediaries, they may fall victims to scam. For those who genuinely stay in Hong Kong for employment, they can easily have their visas renewed. So I want to tell incoming talents that they do not necessarily have to go through agents or intermediaries to help them deal with their visas. Director, do you have anything to add? In a lot of our seminars, we remind incoming talents that it's easy for them to renew their visas. We have live webcasts for our seminars because we want to disseminate information to incoming talents. We also have an account, or we are going to set up an account on Xiaohongshu. Currently, we only have an account on WeChat. We want to, through these channels, disseminate information to as many talents as possible. I declare that this meeting will be extended for 15 minutes. Ms. Doreen Kong. Thank you, Chairman. I'm not too worried about the work of the Talent Engage. I think they have done a lot of work indeed. The Talent Engage focus on different areas in their work. Some of them are higher level work, some of them are more practical or pragmatic. My personal view is that we should look at the strategies deployed by the Talent Engage. If you ask me, what are talents? If we have to babysit talents, well, these are not talents in my mind. Talents are those who can adapt to any environment around the world. Like Mr. Wendy Hong said, incoming talents have to work hard themselves. If they require babysitting, we don't need such talents. On how talents can integrate with the local environment, I've looked at the situation in Dubai, Qatar, and Singapore. They work hard on trawling for talents as well. What they do is very simple. This is they make sure that there is diversity and that they can reinforce their status as a cosmopolitan. It's not hard for talents to integrate into the local environment. On the other hand, we look at intervention. We look at the administrative measures put in place by the government. In 2016, the McKinsey Global Institute made a report on global immigration. They make a point about global intervention. Starting from page 90 of the 2016 report, they talk about how to help talents look for jobs, housing, how they can integrate into the local environment. Apart from the government, the private sector as well as NGOs also play an important role according to the report. I don't necessarily need a response from the government in this regard. Apart from administrative measures, the government should focus on the strategies. In Singapore and Dubai, there are many agencies that offer help and support to incoming talents, and they do not get a lot of complaints. I think the government needs to work hard in this regard. I thank Ms. Kong for the suggestions. Any response from the administration? Our strategy is to work with the business sector as well as employment agencies. We also work with many NGOs. As mentioned, there are 60 NGOs that we are working with now. So we need NGOs as well as local working partners. Mr. Yim Kong. Thank you, Chairman. As said by Dr. Wendy Hong and Ms. Doreen Kong, the major function of the Talent Engage is not to offer babysitting services for top talents who come to Hong Kong. The major responsibility of the Talent Engage is to serve those who can make contributions to Hong Kong. For instance, those who bring their patents to Hong Kong. And these patents may be conducive to certain industry developments. For instance, we want entrepreneurs to come to Hong Kong, and these are people the Talent Engage should be serving. For those who bring patents or potential patents to Hong Kong, like Ms. Carmen Khan said, there are difficulties for us to bring capital to the mainland. Some talents need financing arrangements. How can the Talent Engage offer support in this regard? Can you work with the banking industry or the financial institutions in Hong Kong to offer smooth channels for talents to finance their businesses in the initial stage when they come to Hong Kong? Talents engaging in patents. According to the inquiries we get, there are very few talents who require capital. According to our observation in the seminars, themed on or based on in relation to banking services or financial management, they are quite popular. We leave it to the banks to offer financial management services. I guess we can only offer services up to this point. There will be a session dedicated to employment entrepreneurship. I think Mr. Yim Kong, you can express more of your views in that session.
因為見到
I have some questions according to the paper. There are some 50 or 60 working partners of Hong Kong TE, and the Hong Kong TE plans to add or increase the number to 80. How does the Hong Kong TE work with the partners? Do you organize regular meetings with them? Will the working partners work with the NGOs to achieve certain goals? Mr. Lau, thank you for your question. Now, in terms of our collaboration with our working partners, we offer currently 7 kinds of services, one of which is communication and networking partners that include a number of NGOs. We also work with the Top Talent Services Association. We talk to the working partners regularly. However, when we have more and more of such working partners, we may have to manage them in phases. Our staff is rather new, as is our office, so we'll look at the distribution of our network. We manage the partners in 2 different ways. Well, there are a category of partners that are chambers, associations, and other group of partners are commercial partners. In the future, we may have to break the categories down into more different sectors. We talk to the working partners regularly. We try to serve our partners, and that's our main goal. Thank you, Director. The working partners all want to facilitate the work of Hong Kong TE and encourage talents to settle in our city. Last one to speak, Mr. Tang Fei. Thank you, Chairman. According to paragraph 13 of the paper, it is said that the online platform connects with over 50 designated working partners, including providing talents with advice on education. Last year, Chairman and I have conducted a study. It seems that the talents have very good understanding of our local education system. Of course, it would be good for the Hong Kong TE to provide talents with advice on education, but what kind of education institutions are the Hong Kong TE working with? Director, please. Over the past few months, we've been working on reaching out to different school sponsoring bodies, international school bodies, and Headmasters Association. Also, at this stage, we are focusing on our collaboration with the universities, and we're just now starting to work on our communication with secondary schools. We ask these school sponsoring bodies to give us information, and when we have transfer students, we see if we can identify a school for them. Item 3 on the agenda, date of our next meeting and items for discussion. The Deputy Chairman and I have met with the administration to work out the work plan. The next meeting will be held in October 2024. We will be discussing 2 items, including the promotional and publicity work of the Hong Kong Talent Engage, as well as the facilitation measures to encourage exchange among talents in the Greater Bay Area. If members agree to these items, the Secretariat will issue a notice to members confirming the arrangement. Item 4 on the agenda, any other business. There being no 8OB, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.